This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. One of the reasons I've been railing day after day, 2 videos now, I guess, not day after day, I mean, really going at it, criticizing the plan, the strategy of Marjorie Taylor Greene to divorce the country, one state from another, along red and blue lines, is not just because it doesn't make any sense. It's not just because it's stupid and harebrained and not well thought out. It's not because it doesn't look further into the future of how the political landscape changes year over year. And it's not even because it would harm Democrats, liberals, decent Americans who care about their country and their fellow citizens. It's also because it's just bad for America. It's unconstitutional. I'm not thinking of it as a team sport. It's anti-democratic, fundamentally. And it is strange to watch the coverage on the other side of the aisle. It is strange to watch the coverage emanating from Fox News because they don't know what to think. They don't know whether to support the idea. There are aspects of it that Sean Hannity endorsed. I support this idea of not allowing people who move from a blue state to vote in a red state for 3 to 5 years. That's a chief element of this plan he endorses. But his compatriot, his comrade in another time slot, Laura Igraham, doesn't support it. Kind of. I'm going to play a clip here where she kind of outlines the plan and gives reasons, some of which I've given, some not, gives reasons why it's terrible. Not even the on-their-face clear reasons of unconstitutionality and everything else. She gives a case. And then later on in the program, she has Matt Gaetz on and walks back that criticism by saying it's not really what Marjorie Taylor Greene wants, but blah, 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 blah. They just don't know what to think because their entire network and ethos and ideological drive changes from day to day based on whatever culture war is in the news and whatever they see as good for the message, not what's good for the country. First, let's watch the first clip I talked about where she's kind of deriding the idea. Watch this.
Okay, well, first, a law prohibiting American citizens who've not committed a crime from voting would probably not withstand legal scrutiny. And second, how would this, like a national divorce, be good for conservatism? Now, why would we want to embrace the states that gave us Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton, but essentially give up on the states that gave us Reagan and Trump? Imagine if Youngkin had given up on Virginia, or if Republicans on Long Island gave up on New York. The last thing we need is an American breakup of any sort. Remember, a motto of this show, almost from the start, over 5 years ago, has been no state left behind. Just because it often seems like Democrats have given up on America themselves doesn't mean ever that Republicans or conservatives should. They should not. I'm certainly not willing to give up on the states that gave us Sinatra, John Wayne, or that welcomed my grandparents from Poland. There are good, hardworking people in Illinois, in New York, and in California, Washington State, who don't want to move and who are looking for new leadership. So let's give it to them. Keep organizing. Keep registering people to vote. And I'll get real about early voting. Keep making the case that liberalism is failing everywhere it's tried.
So, some good reasons there from the bigot, Laura Igraham. It's interesting, though, that she, even in that denunciation of the plan, she says, if you're trying to restrict the voting of American citizens, hardworking American citizens who have committed no crime, it probably wouldn't hold up to legal scrutiny. Probably. Well, I'm not sure, even though I'm a lawyer. It wouldn't. The entire plan of Marjorie Taylor Greene just shines a bright light on the fact that she's got the memory and attention span of a goldfish. That right now, this particular political landscape, we want to freeze as a moment in time and then move forward with that with no chance of changing. Because that's how short-sighted this Republican Party is. And there's a few people who are claiming to push back, but not really. In just a few minutes later, after she made this denunciation, she has Matt Gaetz on and doesn't really as full-throatedly come out against it. She said, well, it's not really she's not really talking about a national divorce. She's not really talking about a separation, even though she just came out against the plan for being the thing you're getting ready to see her act like it's not. It's all a bit much. Watch this.
To raise our gaze and confront the China threat.
Well, I mean, I've been singing the China song for 20 years, 25 years now, so I completely agree with you. But none of this is aided by a quote national divorce. Again, that doesn't solve any of these problems. And it's now an argument that the Democrats are going to use against us in 2024, saying, well, those people want the country to be split in two. Even it's not really what she's saying, but it's such an easily caricatured sentiment and so easily distorted that I don't think it's really worth the bother of even making the argument. I mean, that's my point. You're just giving them a bat to hit you over the head with.
So I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is making an invigorated argument for federalism, which I think a lot of voters would ascribe to. I don't think that it's helpful when we have Democrats trying to divide us, even divide parents from their own children by pushing woke ideology in the classroom. So the way to make this debate constructive is for the House of Representatives under Republican control to use the power of the purse to defund the woke, weaponized federal government, from the Department of Education to the Department of Labor to even elements of the Department of Justice and the FBI. And that's where there has to be Republican stridence, not just in press releases and floor speeches, but when we actually get to the debt limit and the appropriations bills. And guess what? Because of the fights that we had in early January, we actually have exquisite tools now to target those agencies and target those bureaucrats with specific votes to defund them and defang them.
Let's set aside Matt Gaetz's not answering the question and diversion away from the topic at hand. Let's set aside the fact that the House of Representatives has no hope of defunding the country with legislation because we've got a Democratic Senate and a Democrat in the office of the presidency. That's not how legislation and bill passing works, Lil Matt Gaetz. Let's talk about how she said there, it's not really what she's saying. It is what she's saying. And you will be attacked because it is unconstitutional. It is un-American. It is anti-democratic. And when given a chance to absolutely come out against it, you do it with a milquetoast flavor. You're a coward, Laura Ingraham. You're a coward, Matt Gaetz, that you can't stand up against Marjorie Taylor Greene and her nonsense plan. It's all a harbinger of things to come. That you think the Republican Party is bad now. Just wait. It's getting worse. They're dumbing it down dangerously to appeal to a low information, low education, idiotic voter base that laps this up. They love it because it feeds the lizard brain. It doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't hold up in a court of law, but it's a culture war thing to fixate on. What do you think? I'd love to know. Let's mix it up in the comments. That helps game the algorithm. Even if you call me at the number I'm getting ready to say, even if you email me at the number I'm getting ready to give, or the email address I'm getting ready to give, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm recognize the channel and maybe reverse some of the damage that's been done over the last few weeks, last month or so, with YouTube's ignoring that this channel exists. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate what I do, please consider supporting my work. Click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. That is not just a support platform for the podcast, which you should also subscribe to, I Doubt It podcast, hosted by myself and Brittany Page. It also helps support the work right here on YouTube. Follow me on social media for more gems, just giving you gems on Twitter. At Dollemore is where you can find me just about everywhere. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for putting up with me. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.